Hey friends, welcome to Fishbowl Roulette. As always, I have a guest who I will be introducing here in a minute. But if you are new here, Fishbowl Roulette is a fun conversation. Sometimes it's deep conversation. Sometimes it's both. It really is just random on the moment. There is not a lot of prep. In fact, there is no prep. They're loaded with questions, and whatever comes out is what we talk about. We have a warning bowl, hot topics, wild card, a guest bowl, which we're doing something a little different this time, but I'll talk about that. And then we have a beliefs bowl. But today's guest is the one and only local legend here in Cape Girardeau, Joy Brooker. Hi.
Howdy, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm great.
Okay, I normally do like a whole intro, and we'll talk about all the cool stuff that she's done. This is how I think of Joy, truly. She's like a little pixie, like a little Tinkerbell, but who is also wearing like a 6-gun slinger who, like, we're not afraid to unleash. Like, I will spread joy and happiness, but if you step over here on anybody's toes that I know, I'm coming for you.
That's correct. I would say that. My mom was like, you should be an advocate for someone because you've just got too much, too much for yourself. Like, you need to advocate for other people. Like,
you should consider,
as a job. Yeah.
Yeah. You should consider using your voice for good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You do use your voice for good.
But you know what I get what you mean by that.
But in real introductions, you are a multi-musician, vocal, singer, performer, comedian. You do singing telegrams. You have been on national TV, to name a couple, really, right? You've had clips, but America's Got Talent. You delivered a singing telegram to
Simon Cowell. He actually liked me. He was actually really nice. I liked him a lot.
That's really cool.
Yeah, he was super chill.
Yeah, how did you get that gig?
They found, so in 2023, that's when like everything went nuts. And so they have talent people who will be scrolling reels like all the time. I guess people just maybe don't know that's kind of how they find people.
Oh, so that makes sense.
Yeah. So they reach, because I mean, that kind of gives them an idea of like who you are. So they told me they wanted me to audition. So I sent in a tape. I went upstairs to Port Cape and I had to have like a fake Simon. So I had just like a skeleton sitting there and then like a balloon head for like Howie.
Like, here's what we're gonna do.
And then like another mannequin head for like Sophia. And then I just did the audition and they called me back. I remember I was at work and they were like, yeah, we want to fly you out. Like, you're gonna sing to Simon. It's gonna be on the show. And then I was in a closet when I found out, and then I locked myself in the closet on accident. So my boss had to come and like.
Well, why were you in a closet?
Because it was like, this is the phone call. Because it said like Los Angeles, California. And I was like, so I went to the closet.
I don't think of you as having a boss.
Oh, when I did have a boss. It was just in 2023.
I was like, what have I missed?
Not now. No, this isn't, because it was still a side gig in 2023. It wasn't like my main thing.
Is it now your main thing?
Mm-hmm. Completely. I completely support myself entertaining.
That's amazing.
Crazy.
That is crazy.
Isn't it? It's nuts. I can't believe it.
I think entertaining is one of those cool things that, like, when you're a kid, it looks a certain way.
Yeah. And
then you have figured out a way to do it on your terms, and you're super talented.
Thank you.
Like, I mean this kindly. Mm-hmm. When I heard you sing, like, for real the first time, instead of, like, a parody or something funny, I was blown away.
Thank you.
I mean, I can't sing at all. Like, I'll probably sing on here and it'll be terrible.
I want you to.
Okay.
I want to accompany you.
A, B, C. I'm just kidding.
I'm snapping along.
Yeah, you're like,
thank you, though. That's really
cool.
kind.
I knew that you had made that transition, but Ralph, just all entertainment. Huh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, so you kind of heard, here's how it works. Mm-hmm. It really is. I enjoy people's stories. Turns out I might be living out my passion too, not just because I got a podcast.
Yeah. My
entire life, I have found a job to be paid to just talk to people.
I love that.
Like, my 9 to 5 is a recruiter.
That's what you're good at. You know, that's your gift. Well, so, yeah. You found a way the same way, like, you found a way to do it too. It's just creativity.
So I actually had lunch with a friend today, and we were talking about, you know, the world expects you to make the most important decisions of your life in your 20s, and we're in our 50s, and we're like, you're the most stupid. That's when you're the most dumb.
Oh, my God. I cannot tell you how many mistakes I made. Oh,
it's
20s.
Crazy. But so then we just were laughing about a few other things. Mm-hmm. And I said the same thing. I said, it's kind of wild. I have figured out a way to get paid to just talk to people. Mm-hmm. And I said, and now let's connect this thread. We did Junior Miss. That's a whole different topic.
I've heard of Junior Miss, yes.
Yeah. I mean, just imagine me as a pageant girl for 1 minute.
Oh, my gosh. The hair must have been glorious.
Oh, yeah. We had a parasol. I'm just saying, we did a dance with a parasol.
I love that.
Yeah, there's a video somewhere. That's why I can't be president. So, but you know what my talent was?
What?
I told a funny story.
And how did that do?
Well, I think I was mocked by everybody else as that's not a talent.
You mocked by people who didn't have the gall to go up and do it.
Right.
So,
so I mean, it's my friend and I like laugh about it now, but like I just made that connection today. I was like, huh.
So that was your first time like connecting the dots, like like a little sprout.
Yeah. It kind of was. So yeah. Anyway, so for whatever that's worth out there, if you think you have a talent that doesn't seem like a talent, it probably is.
It is, because there are a million ways to make money. Literally, like so many. You just have to get really creative and weird, and people will buy it just because it's so odd that they're like, huh, you know.
They're intrigued and interested.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, I was just going to say something about fetish content, and that is not where we're headed.
No, we're not farting in jars over here. We're selling
but
it.
But to your point, yeah, you got to get weird and creative, and people will pay for it.
Just, within reason, because it is eternal on the internet.
That's exactly, yeah. It's out there once, it's out there 12 million years later in a database. So
I was going to say if it's still around.
It would be alarming. Okay, you get to just pick. We'll start.
Gosh.
I do need to probably tell the audience because we are doing something different. So normally the guest bowl I build to the guest. Mm-hmm. I asked you to bring some questions in that you might be interested in, which I will draw from, and then we'll see where that goes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We've never done it, but let's see what happens.
Okay, and I get to choose first?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And Pat said my questions were not spicy enough, just so you know.
What?
Everybody, that's the Pat Ketting episode. Don't know when it's going to be out there, but go find it.
The questions that Pat once asked can't be aired, probably.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment.
The one that got away, regret or relief? There's not one that got away.
Okay.
I'm with mine. Derek is it.
How long have you guys been together?
We've been together since 2019. We literally got together within days of meeting. We met crossing the street in Cape Girardeau, actually right in front of Green's garden that used to be Shaker's.
Yeah.
And so, I met him immediately. I was just like, this man, there's something about him. And I wrote my wedding vows to him 2 weeks later. And then we were... Yeah, that's weird. Don't do that unless you're me. And then
tell
fine.
The person. I'm just kidding. He probably liked it.
We literally said I love you like a week after we met each other because it's true. Once you know. And then we got married in 2024 at Ebb and Flow, actually, downtown.
So I've had a few people where different relationship things have come up, and it's crazy to me, and I think women do this more than men, but hey, men, feel free to weigh in, how much energy women will expend to see, is it, I don't know, let's talk about it. What is this? Is it the right one? And then when it does happen, there's no discussion.
No, there's absolutely none. But
there's just
we
an
will
alignment.
Bargain with ourselves. Well, I mean, this is just my personal opinion, but I was kind of taught that my role was to serve men and to kind of not lower myself, but I guess dim my light a little bit in order to kind of fulfill a specific role. And I think that can kind of stick with a lot of us, where it's like, oh, we're the fixers, we're the nurturers, that's what women are. And then that puts you in a box so that when you stand up for yourself or when you say, I don't think so, you're seen as like not feminine. You're seen as like masculine for saying the word no, which is really interesting.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
That you were raised in what I would call a conservative Christian environment. Mm-hmm. And I know that you talk about this as much or as little as you want.
Oh, yeah. I open book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know that there's been some family things, but I also know you're close with your family.
Yeah.
Most parts of your family, if not all.
It was one of those things we all went through it because, truthfully, that was a popular thing in the 90s within Christian circles. There were multiple people that were kind of buying into new ideologies that were sprouting as a result of like fear because of the hippie movement. And so after the 80s, it was after the satanic panic of the 80s, then everybody started freaking out and saying, okay, our youth are rebelling. Rock music is doing this. They're conjuring the devil. So we're going to create a program that teaches strict adherence to authority as the ultimate solution for all this rebellion. So that's what the program I was in. It was just a counter movement to...
Did it have a name?
ATI. Advanced Training Institute, and then IBLP.
That's got to be out there in Google World.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's a lot. And then IBLP was the Institute of Basic Life Principles. Bill Gothard was the leader.
Oh wait, is that the same? Is that Bill Gothard? Is that the Duggars?
Yes, that was my That was my family.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. So we were just like that. So I wasn't allowed to wear pants. I couldn't listen to, again, like music with drums in it. So for the longest time, I could just listen to approved movie soundtracks and like church music and hymns. My first like CD with drums on it was like a Christian CD when I was 12. And then
you had never heard drums until then?
I think when I was really little before, like, because I was 4 or 5 when we got into it. So I do remember some of that, but it was like contemporary Christian music. So I think it was like Carmen and stuff like that, if you remember.
Yeah.
But I got into the program when I was fairly young. So I was there for maybe like 8 years of my life, 7, 8 years of my life. Maybe.
And how did you just decide to get out? What did you do?
Because it became so legalistic that it was like, okay, there's a problem. Like there were so many red flags going off. And actually soon after we left the program, Bill Gothard, it came out that he had multiple sexual assault allegations with young girls that he would groom. And he'd call the parents and say, your daughter is so gifted. She has a gift for the Lord. I want her to come work with me at headquarters. And so he had groomed and assaulted all these women. And there's like a whole website dedicated to it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have not looked into that, but I have heard that. But I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was. I'm going to say the phrase that doesn't really fit. I didn't know it was that creepy.
It is. It was.
I know
for
it's
sure.
creepy and I knew it was bad, but like calling to say your daughter has a gift.
Your daughter
for God.
is chosen. I have chosen her to come work with me. It functioned a lot like Mormon, like in a way, like the
polygamy,
like the Utah, the crazy, like where they're often kind of like a sect up to themselves. But it reminded me a lot of that because I watched the Netflix special, the False Prophet one that just came out. And it reminded me so much the way he would talk to the women and girls to control them was a lot like the way Bill Gothard would talk to these girls and make them feel special and anointed. And he would use God terminology to, again, make them feel called, chosen, anointed, special. I've picked you. And then he just was doing all kinds of sketchy stuff behind closed doors.
It's interesting that this question has gone here, but I like it. So I lived in Utah for about 5 years.
Yeah.
I loved Utah. I had 2 roommates. They were hairstylists. One of them was mine, and over time, we just got a house together. Just keep in mind, I've seen this person multiple times. We've gone out, we've done things, now we're roommates. I still have no idea, but we're out one day and she says something about having 62 siblings. And I said, huh?
62?
Now, I was not, you can't live in Utah without swinging a dead cat and seeing a polygamist, but
that's hilarious.
You can't. You just can't. And I disagree, agree. I have a lot of respect for the Mormon community.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I've had great experience, like with members and so on. Polygamists are different.
Yeah, they're like extremists.
It's different.
Yeah.
But I actually got to go. It was a funeral, and they wanted to go. They were out of that group. Her dad had 8 wives. She was completely out. So this whole salon was women who had left polygamy and were supporting each other.
That's incredible.
It really was. And anyway, but I got to go to one of the compounds for a funeral because they were like, we're going. Do you want to go? I was like.
Was everybody like wearing dresses, like the same dress, the long hair and everything? Yeah. The long braided hair.
And it was just I was like, wow, there are just people living lives I don't have a clue.
That is, yeah.
And like, that was so eye-opening when she said that. And then she ended up going on to tell me, she was like, oh, there was times we were in a trailer where there was icicles on the inside because there's this sort of myth out there and there are wealthy polygamists. There's one specific sect in Salt Lake that owns a lot of stuff, but most of them keep the money in the men. They keep the money in the church, and the women and the children are just left to fend for themselves.
That's very commonplace.
I'm interested. So I would describe this group of women. So once I connected all of that, when I tell you that they were women for women, it was a fire that was lit in them.
Wow.
And you kind of remind me of that, but I didn't know that that's your background.
Oh, yeah. I think that's so interesting that you say that because I think that's where that comes from. And more importantly, my mom, she wouldn't mind me talking about this. She came from like poverty in Louisiana. Her father was a highly decorated military man who was abusive. And so it was like very, very bad. And my mom was one of 6 kids. And so she told me a story about the first time she physically like confronted my grandfather when he had broken her nose. And she ran full speed, and she was like 15, 16, and tackled him to the ground and said, "Don't you ever lay a finger on me again." And then she packed her stuff and left. And I think I got that from her, truthfully, because I think she just reached a point where she was she was the eldest daughter, middle child like me. And I think she just reached a point where she was like, enough is enough. Like, I'm so tired of like the just horrendous abuse and the cheating and justifying it. And, you know, my grandma wouldn't leave. She just kept coming back. It was like awful. And so I think that's really in my blood, honestly, just this refusal to like, I don't know how to explain it, because, you know, I guess we were taught to be submissive our whole lives.
You're not doing that well.
No, I'm not. I'm not. Because, like, why are you going to limit me like that? Why are you going to put me in a box? Yeah. Why are you going to use me up for things that benefit you and then, you know, treat the rest of me like it's disposable? Like, I'm not a private equity for you. I'm a person. Like,
yeah, good for you.
Yeah, and so that's kind of where my head's at, you know, with that. But yeah, I think that is where that comes from, is just because I've been part of like environments where the women were just blamed, and the girls especially, were blamed for older men's like pedophilic fantasies and stuff. Oh, yeah, where it's like I was 7, 8 years old being told, you know, about lust and stuff, and I'm like, I'm 7. I don't understand what that means.
I'm interested.
Yeah.
I had a lunch today that has really made its way into this podcast, but I'm interested. So, did you see the thing on CNN about the Rape Academy?
I sure did. Yep.
So I was telling my friend about it, and I was like, I couldn't even really read it all. It was so disturbing. And I've been a foster care advocate. I have been in the courts where I have heard horrific things. And for those of you, I'm not going to take time away from this really great moment, but please go look it up and realize that this is a culture that cannot exist. But she and I were talking about it, and what did I say? Gosh darn, I'm going to have to come back to it. What did she? Oh, I said there's a culture that has existed probably among women forever, that they don't look at it as victim blaming, but they're like, well, if they were a stronger woman,
yes,
they wouldn't.
It's called the perfect victim.
And let me tell you, I have been a little guilty of that, because there were times, like if all cards on the table, when I hear about some of those actresses that were going to a hotel room at 3:00 in the morning for an audition, I'm like, what
are you doing?
Like, why would you think that that's real?
Right.
But also, why would you think that this well-known person is going to do anything? But the other side of that is like, women doing that, I'm like, why don't you just be a better man? Mm-hmm. What about that?
Because that's too much to ask. Men are like, and I will say this.
And like, I love men. I have great
love
men
my
in my
husband,
life.
But the thing is like, we can love men individually. Is one of my favorite quotes was Mary Poppins. And she goes, though we adore men individually, we agree that as a group they're rather stupid, which is
a song, I think.
It is a song. I mean, that can be said for like humanity in general, but
definitely,
I guess there is this like knee-jerk reaction that men have to protect other men's fragility, egos, whatever. There's a lack of accountability. And so, you know, even though I think I did see a lot of people replying like, well, that's not every man. Well, not every man is like that. Okay, that's not the point. That's not what you're supposed to be offended by. That's not what you're supposed to be like aghast by. And the fact that like you are still coming at it from a place of defensiveness means that you're not ready to like look in the mirror, not just like at kind of what you're protecting, but it's like there is a certain amount of programming that happens in us as kids in terms of like what our roles are as girls, as boys, and how that's going to affect us as like men and women. And especially within the program I was in, men were very protected. Men were the heads of the home. You did not question the men. And if you did, you were rebelling against authority. There is actually a book called To Train Up a Child, and they teach you very early to break a child's will. They teach you a form of physical abuse that breaks their will. And I remember that being part of like the program. Mm-hmm.
I've heard about that book.
Oh, yeah. But see, this is the interesting part. If only the men are catered to, the boys get abused in this program too. So it's almost like the cycle of abuse kind of continues, because it's like there's just so much shame that doesn't get addressed, and so much kind of like secrecy around sex and stuff, because it's not viewed the way a regular human being does. It's all so fear-based. It's all just panic, anxiety, like, and so I think the inability to approach it just from like a place of, hey, this is a normal thing. It's not like that. It's like everything is hellfire, damnation, and like
no joy or light.
No joy or light. And so there's this like secrecy around sex where it's like you have to protect, the fragility of this man, because lust is like his ultimate. It's a lot of coddling around sexual sin and lust, like especially within the church. It's, if you were wearing something defrauding to a man, like, it's your fault. I was told many times, like,
what's defrauding to a man?
Defrauding, I'll tell you what it's when I'm 12 and I wear a shirt from Aeropostale that's a little too tight, and then my youth pastor asks me to change my shirt multiple times. Yeah, that was kind of a thing. I do not care to mention that out loud publicly, because I'm still mad about that to this day. Because I'm 12, Yeah,
well, like, have you seen the reel out there? I don't even know why I have bowls for you today, but we'll get to some more. But have you seen the reel that they put together of the interviews that Brooke Shields went through?
Yeah.
That is also very disturbing. And I'm like, because they had them all, when you're watching them all together, you're like, she was 9.
Yeah.
She was 10.
And
men looking at her. I mean, one man even said, an interviewer, right, a media dude, I just can't see you as a regular girl. And the way he said it, you're just like,
it's so gross. It's so gross.
And I'm like, I grew up in that era.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I know I kind of like rambled a bit.
Cause right now people are like, what was the question?
Yeah, I know. But I guess my point is that we were talking about the Rape Academy. And there is, I can't tell you how many men I've gone to and said, hey, there's been abuse that's happened. And they did not believe me. They said, well, you don't have any proof. Well, you've been dramatic before about X, Y, Z. And it's like, just because I was in my feelings about another situation does not mean that carries across. But these same people will come to me when they need something, and when they need an opinion on music or something. But when it comes to, anything else, she's not credible. It's your credibility as a woman is immediately doubted. Immediately. Like, you have to go above and beyond to prove that you're a credible person. And I think that's, where they're like, well, no, man, Will, are you sure it was this number? And they're like taking a microscope at all the wrong things.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is so bad about just admitting that sex is a problem for you guys? That this lack of like respect for female autonomy is a problem.
That's a subculture
for men, because I think it's the secrecy, it's the shame, it's porn. A lot of it is porn, and it's like this idea that we can't talk about it because it's. You got to stick up for your bros. You know what I mean?
That's honestly part of the reason why I'm even doing this podcast, is because just tell the truth.
Yeah.
Just say, you know what, you're right. That was sucked. I shouldn't have done that. That's a mistake. I shouldn't have said that. And I think age has a lot to getting like some. How old are you?
I'm 36.
Okay, so I got 20 years on you. I know I don't look it, but I got 20 years on you, sister.
You
I know.
Great
Thank you.
skin.
A day over 19 years difference. Telling the truth is just freedom.
It is 100%.
Listen, I have plenty of things in my own closet, so I'm not out here like, oh, I'm just always like, we all make mistakes. We all have shame. There's just different things, but it just doesn't seem that hard to say bad behavior is wrong.
Fix anything until you acknowledge that it's there.
Right.
If you're not going to acknowledge it and just sweep it under the rug, you can't be surprised when it boils over and when the problem becomes unmanageable. Back to that, how many Duggar boys have been arrested now for sexual assault? I think 2.
At least 2.
And I know that I don't remember if the dad had been in trouble for something before, but it's that, where it's like they got maybe a slap on the wrist. Josh Duggar is still being defended, by his wife, Anna. And it's this, we got to protect them. And it's like, but why? Why?
Right.
It doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
Like, because how are you going to preach, purity culture?
Well, and I think too, just in that vein, like, and this isn't like women can save men and men can save women. It's, why would you want to stay in that? Like, I don't get it either. Why would good men want to protect that kind of vibe? That's what I don't understand.
I think because
even good women, like, I don't like, there's like I just don't get that.
I think you and I are coming at it from a place of like truth is truth and goodness is goodness. And I think some people don't see it like that. They see it as I got to protect my ego like first and foremost. And that's like, I guess as somebody, this is going to sound bad, but like I hadn't had an ego for a really long time because I wasn't allowed to have one as a child. I wasn't allowed to have self-esteem because that was seen as, disrespect. Basically. So there's this idea that like, women are going to get overconfident. Like, she can't have too much power. Why do you think I'm going to use it like you do? Is that why? You think that I'm going to handle power the way that you would, sir? Because you can't be more wrong. Like for women, how many times do we have to hype ourselves up? How critical are we of ourselves? And it's like the second that you try to get somebody who's deep in that to self-reflect, my husband, I got to praise him infinitely. He's not like that. Like he is one of those men that can self-reflect and is just very like observant, emotionally attuned. And yeah, but they're out there, but it's just the ones who feel like they have to protect the other bros, they're not gonna.
No, they're not.
No.
Yeah. Is that, so I saw you play one night and your mother-in-law was there watching you, and you have a good positive relationship with her, and I don't know what your husband, but she had such a softness about her. I don't know if that's always been the case, but I sent you the pictures because she was just so proud of you.
I was like, it almost made me cry because
she was just so proud of you.
That was her first time seeing me play. Ever.
There was just such a and it wasn't this high energy. It was just I could tell she was literally like, that is the daughter of my heart. That is who's taking care of my son. He's taking care of her.
I think that means a lot. Yeah, too. That means a lot to me too because like she lost her daughter a few years ago. Derek, his only sister, she passed away tragically in 2022.
I'm sorry, I was not aware of that.
Yeah, so I think that, and he's the last one in the family, so I think that means a lot to me too because it's like, well, I can't replace Catherine, but like I'm glad that I give her like a sense of pride, I hope. She was so sweet, and she was like, that was amazing. I was like, you're very kind. She goes, no, I'm honest. And I was like, well, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Well, they're British. Like my, I guess it's my Nana too, but Derek's grandma is from the UK. Like she still has an accent and everything. So, yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. That's interesting.
She says lovely.
Yeah,
lovely.
I'd like to have an accent. I don't know what accent that is. Is that Cockney? I don't know what I'm doing.
If
I slip into something else, I'm just apologizing now.
I'll go back and forth into all kinds of accents. No, but like we've had tea with her and stuff. She's really nice. But I think maybe that's where that softness comes from. Is she's not the type of lady to like be British people. They're very like if Derek's talking too much, she'd be like, quite chatty today, aren't we? And then he's just like, it shuts up immediately. I'm like, how do you do that?
Yes, how like the power of suggestion.
But she's so good at that. It's very like gentle, but just wham. Like, man.
You're like, shut it down.
Jeez, Jen.
That's code for shut it down. Wow.
Yeah.
That is a cool talent.
Yeah,
that is a cool talent.
I admire it.
Okay, that was fun.
Sweet.
Okay. Where else would you like to go?
I guess I'll go with this warning one because
I did that whole conversation felt like it came out of the warning jar. Didn't?
It's just begun. How did?
Oh no.
How did pickleball go from this looks kind of ridiculous to a full-blown community movement? I'll explain. Pickleball is for people who aren't good at tennis because it's much easier.
I'm going to lose the entire pickleball community because of this.
What? I love pickleball. Listen, when I go visit my dad, that's all we do. And like I will kick some senior citizens out of that court. It's my turn. No, I love pickleball because yes, I've tried to play tennis before and I'm like, this is a lot of running. What if we shrank this court by like a few feet? And what if we made the balls not so heavy? Oh my gosh, suddenly this is so much more fun. Because it's not badminton where it's like a delicate little wisp and there's just no girth behind it, And then you feel like a pansy and just kind of hitting it over this delicate floral net. But no, pickleball, there's an element of danger. How many people have injured themselves playing pickleball? I think there's there's data on this somewhere. Pickleball injuries
thousands.
skyrocketed since like 2020. But I don't.
And here's the other thing though. Does it kind of aggravate you? Because like I know I play pickleball. I do think it's fun.
I love it.
Managing director loves pickleball. And he's super competitive about it. And I got paired with him at an event. And I was like, why is this happening? But people get like it's not even a sport. It's for old people. And I'm like, you have not played. But I also do think that's one of the reasons that there's a lot of injuries.
It's a little
because the knees are a little older.
You are a little bit closer to the,
there's
so I think there's less of a closure gap there.
Yeah.
So
those hips are like,
a lot of flashing. Yeah, the hips, the knees. But I love pickleball. I just think, again, but I've watched the retirement community at my dad's play tennis, and they don't play. They don't play over there. They really don't. These little South Carolina people, they're retired, so all they have is like this. They pour their energy, all of it.
So you mean when they don't play, you mean like they are here to throw
down. Oops, my stepmom's like tennis group. Those ladies are feral, and I will watch them all afternoon. Like I love a retirement community tennis
what else
tournament.
you got to do? Marge, 85-year-old Marge, you're going down.
I don't care. I'll get a freaking like thing of beer and just sit there all afternoon and have a blast. And it's a bunch of these like old retirees from New York that are there, and I love it. But no, pickleball is fun. I'm not knocking pickleball. I'm just saying it's more accessible than tennis. It's diet tennis.
It is diet tennis.
And that's why we love it so much.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's fair.
Yeah. Warning.
Yeah. Blah.
You think I was going to rip on pickleball?
Like, what?
Not a chance. I mean, it is a little bit easier than I'm trying to think of other ball hitting sports besides t-ball, baseball.
Have you ever played croquet?
No, but there is croquet at my dad's, but you have to wear white.
Okay, so my pseudo mother-in-law she does croquet every Easter for her family and friends. This year was her 38th tournament.
38?
There's a trophy, there's everything. And I had played a couple times, but it had been a long time. Listen, if they're vicious. They will knock your ball. I mean, I watched a father-son duo. I was like, you're going to break a window across the street.
Over croquet.
They
do throw it. You think it's a delicate little mint julep sport? Absolutely not. This is a bush light endeavor.
It is.
And I'm like, why do we have to wear white if everybody's acting like...
I know. She gets mad because not everybody wears all white. But, you just deal with it.
Yeah, whatever. Stupid rules. In my dad's community, if you don't follow the retirement rules, you get a do better letter in your mailbox.
What is a do better letter?
A do better letter is just a gentle reminder of the community rules.
Awfully chatty today.
So awfully chatty today, aren't we? Put your phone away at dinner, Alan. Just kidding, Dad. Love you. Sorry, don't get in trouble. Tell me to do better letter because of me. Which entertainers? Yes. Which entertainers had the greatest impact on you as a child? This is one of those that I wrote out.
Every person in Greece.
No, I actually was not allowed to watch Grease because
that's just my answer.
That's your answer for you.
Yeah,
Every person in Greece. Wait, there's not one that stuck out above the rest. Rizzo.
I mean, I'm equal parts Rizzo.
I love Rizzo,
and I can't even think of what her name was.
Sandra D.
Hello, my first name is Sandra,
yeah,
and I lost the track. I don't know I just had a am I blacked out right now?
You're Sandra too.
That song has been sung to me 1,000 times. I cannot believe
I'm so
I
sorry.
lost that.
Beauty school dropout. Oh man, I've known hairdressers I don't like that song very much. Stick to them.
Oh yeah.
But okay, yes.
Well, I mean that really I definitely want to hear yours.
Yeah.
Every sleepover I had as a kid, because kids still did that then. It was Grease and a dance off. We'd have our own dance contest, and let me tell you, we were throwing people up in the air, girlfriends just like, yep, get up here, stand on my shoulders. Like
you were yanking people. Oh. Was it like swing dance? Or
kind of.
Good Lord.
It was how they danced in Greece.
I was going to say, that sounds more like WWE.
Listen, so much that this was an impact on my life that even in college, I still remember the last night that I was with my college roommates. What did we watch?
Grease.
But
it's a ritual at this point.
And did we know every song? And
oh my
absolutely.
God, tell me more.
Oh, yeah.
I do love me some Grease though.
Yeah.
Because John Travolta.
I mean, it's kind of rapey in the beginning if you think about it. But
a little.
But I try not to think about it because I loved it so much.
No, I think that's why my mom was like weird about it. No, my mom was weird about it because she was like, she turned into a slut to make him happy. And I'm like, oh, I guess that is the moral of the story.
Yeah,
well, I can understand.
Smoke, drink. Yeah, whatever.
Wear those tight pants.
Yeah, that explains a lot about the 80s.
It does, but I wish I was part of the 80s. I was 1990. Great. I would have had fun.
You would have been great.
Okay, so which entertainers? So because I was sheltered, obviously, our media was very limited. But if there's one thing that my family freaking loved, it was some Don Knotts. I love Don Knotts. So Andy Griffith's show, we watched that religiously.
Oh, yeah.
The Shakiest Gun in the West, The Ghost and Mr. Chicken.
Oh, yeah. The Ghost and Mr. Chicken.
So all those kind of old-timey actors that were just so animated, and it was more about characters, Whereas I feel like now it's more like the celebrity is the, But Don Knotts could like play so many. He was like the incredible Mr. Limpet. I think he was not the Nutty Professor. I think that was Jerry Lewis. I think
that was Jerry Lewis.
That was Jerry Lewis.
Yep.
But Don Knotts was just freaking hilarious. He was so like overcommitted to whatever he was doing, especially as Barney Fife. That spoke to me. And my family, like, we would just act out scenes from, like, my favorite episode of Danny Griffith was Barney in the choir. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, when he was trying out.
When he was...
And he couldn't make it.
No, he didn't make it. So they had another guy stand in for him. And then he gets up to the mic, and he thinks it's him singing, but it's this, like, booming baritone behind the curtain. Funniest, oh, my God. So, like, I think those old-timey characters that were very just,
You know what's crazy is my girls would probably say that because their dad, of course, like all of us, like then that we grew up on Andy Griffith. So we owned the entire set when my girls were little, and we watched it all the time. And their dad would be like, he loved the chicken one or the ghost.
Ghost Mystery, yeah. I'm trying to remember because those were some, and then he was in Apple Dumpling Gang with the dude from Carol Burnett show. What was his name? Tim Conway.
I was going to say, is it Tim Conway?
Yeah, it's Tim Conway.
No, what is the other guy's name?
I don't remember.
Also, Carol Burnett was a huge impact on my life.
That was another, like, Tim Conway and Don Knotts, like, together. Just the way they would, like, be so animated with abandon and didn't have it. I don't know. There's something about those, like, old-timey characters that really stuck with me. And Jim Henson, of course. I love everything Jim Henson
I'm surprised that the Muppets were allowed. Some of that was like kind of sketch.
Wasn't it? Yeah, but I think I have a theory for that because even my husband, his mom, like would let him listen to some Ozzy Osbourne and stuff. So I have a theory, even though he was like sheltered too. But like, I think if it felt safe to our parents, then they assumed it was safe for us.
Oh.
So because it was Sesame Street from the 70s, my mom grew up with it. She was 1960. So like to her, it was just her childhood. Like it was nothing, right? But to me, this was some psychedelic material.
What was the John Candy movie? Uncle...
I know what you're talking about. Uncle Fester. No, it's not Fester. I'm thinking of a...
I can't believe I can't think of it.
I love John Candy, though.
I know, I did. He was so... that's a gone too soon
funny.
For sure. But, so whatever that Uncle...
I don't remember.
Everybody look it up. John Candy, Uncle something. Anyway, I showed that movie to my kids when they were little. And you know how you're, like, watching stuff and you're like, this is a little rougher than I kind of remember. And finally, my then, like, 7-year-old turns around because it was PG, but it was PG before they changed the rating system.
Oh.
And so, in my mind...
Yeah, a PG in the 80s was different.
Yeah. So, finally, my 7-year-old turns around and goes, I really don't think we should be watching this.
Your 7-year-old?
Yeah. And I was...
discernment.
But at that point, we were so far in, I was like, it's fine.
It's fine. I mean, that's so funny. Oh my gosh.
The opposite.
I love that though. Because that's you guys could breathe a little bit, you know? For some reason, we'd like pick a movie and then right when the sex scene starts, my parents walk in thinking that we're just... And
good
I'm like,
timing.
No, we just picked it out of Blockbuster. Like, we did.
I didn't know what 16 Candles was about. I'm just kidding. I did.
16,
I did.
There was that part. Did you want me to pick another one or no?
Yeah.
No, do we not have time?
Nope, we have time. I didn't even tell you about the lightning round.
Oh.
So that I don't know why I don't tell people about it. If you listen to it, you probably know. No, pick one.
Okay. Oh wait, that says beliefs.
Yeah, okay.
I want to pick that one.
Okay.
Because I want to see what kind of stuff are in the air. Ooh. Traditional gender roles, outdated or just evolving? Oh boy, traditional gender roles, don't even get me started because where did those come from? We didn't make those. They were written for us. Religion.
There's just always a theme in a podcast.
Like I thought you were talking about traditional gender roles.
No, it's so interesting to me, like to hear the questions and then like, oh, okay, that just ties in with everything.
Well, I guess expanding on this a little bit is that for someone like me, you know, doing what I do, I think back in the day I would have been seen as a boisterous, obnoxious, attention hungry woman, like for doing what I do.
I would have been sent to the fields when I was 10 if I was in the 1500s.
Do you know how many times I was told to sit down and be quiet? Like,
yeah.
So I guess for me, the gender roles that were written for me were a lot more extreme because of where I came from, which is why I'm so like, meh. because I know where all of it's rooted.
Yeah.
And it'll show up as little speckles in society, but I know where it comes from. And I know those environments. And it's like, okay, all the mold is actually coming from over here, and the spores are just getting on society, you know? So it's, yeah. I had to evolve past my constant need for the men in my life to approve of me and my decisions. I have to tell you, that is a side effect of leaving that type of environment. Is like you have to become okay with conservative men thinking that you are not a lady, that you are, you know, XYZ, labeling you as something. If you're not somebody who is of service to men, specifically like from those environments, because that's what they teach women to be, then you are useless. And you are doing something wrong, you know?
It's an interesting construct, I think, because it really is which came first, the chicken or the egg, right?
Mm-hmm.
And right or wrong, I do feel like when I watch kids before they've been engendered or whatever that means, there are things that they typically lean into.
There's differences for sure in terms of like the brain, because that's just that you can prove that with data, and like you can prove that with like pictures.
That being said, a good friend of mine has a picture of him and his brother and his cousins, and his one cousin is there. He can't be 5. He's 4 or 5. I mean, I don't know how old he is in this picture. So he's in he and his husband live in New York, right? When I tell you that he is standing in this picture, he's got cutoff jeans on, they're hiked up, he's got his hip popped, his hand out, and I'm like, how could you look at this picture and think that this was going to be your, quote, typical boy? You know? Like, I don't mean that.
But you're right.
I'm like, it was just there.
Right.
Like, so.
I think kids are kids until until they're kind of programmed to be something else. Like, it's wonderful to just let a kid kind of be, and I'm not a parent yet, but I have been a teacher and you know, counselor, and I've worked with kids before. And like, assigning an identity to a child is the worst thing that you can do for them. And I say that again as somebody who was given an identity and given a set of expectations and not allowed to explore that freely.
Do you mean that as a gender identity or an identity?
Both.
Let's.
My identity within the family.
Right, and we need 12 hours for this conversation.
I'm so sorry. There's 2 different types. There's your identity within the family system.
Yeah.
And then there's your identity as a girl, as a woman, and kind of what people expect from you.
So I think that, I make room for the derivatives that happen in nature, because that's just, you know, what it is. But I mean, I think a boy is born a boy, typically. Not, I mean, I know there's other things, and a girl is a girl, but I know that there's a movement out there. Let me be very clear. I have good friends who are in different situations. So I don't mean that. I just think that's the majority of the time. That's how that works. But there's a big movement out there to, well, let's just wait and see if just because she's got these parts doesn't mean that she may want to be a girl.
I think
that's hard for me to wrap my brain around.
It is difficult for a lot of people, especially, well, it was difficult for me to kind of start deconstructing that idea, just because there's so many instances in nature where things are just like that doesn't make a lot of sense. Well, how can this swap genders? And you know, and where it's just like when you start looking at nature and then you start looking at us as human beings, it's like, well, how come we assign very specific standards to ourselves that nature doesn't adhere to? And then we'll like morally punish ourselves, you know, for very specific things. Like we tend to do that a lot, just in general, which goes back to like the secrecy with sex thing. And there's just a lot of shame, punishment, et cetera, and so forth. So I've just kind of come to accept, as someone who does love Jesus, that like there's a lot of things in the universe I don't understand.
Yeah.
And it's not my role to figure anything out. I have a lot of like trans friends that I love very dearly, because like I see myself in them, and it's more of like a soul to soul type thing. And I think that happens too when you deconstruct, is like you just learn to see people as souls.
Yeah.
And that's something that is a hard place to get to, because it requires just peeling back a million layers of like, who am I underneath everything that was built for me? And like, who am I? That's a hard question, but like, I'm excited to peel that back more, at least for me.
I mean, and I'm with you. Like, see people as, no matter how you view any of this conversation, like learning to see people as souls is where it's at.
That is the key to everything, to just to like a true equality and to community. Like it really is. That's the key to everything. But I think we kind of assign labels to people that, you know, are it does. I think assigning labels does more negative sometimes than positive. I think a lot of times it can give people a sense of like camaraderie and like unity. But I think a lot of times it can kind of stunt a person's growth because they're like, well, I can't be this because I'm this.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, so how can I be both? You can. It's possible. People are complex, just like women are complex. You know, like I am so much more than just a singing telegram. I am a musician. I'm a writer. I'm a bunch of things. But that's not just women. That's people. But I think certain sexist beliefs have taught us that people need to be controlled and monitored and not loved. And so that's kind of what I'm having to undo consistently is it's not up to me to correct people, monitor people. I'm here to love. And that is it.
I agree.
That is all.
Wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah. So like, and there's a lot of things I'm still unlearning with it where it's like, I just don't necessarily agree with that anymore, you know? So it's a continual
There's a lot
journey.
of unlearning. I mean, that,
yeah.
I don't know. Even
but
if
it's continual. It's the rest of your life. The rest of your life, you'll be unlearning stuff and relearning stuff. And that's the beauty of it.
The family is your first society.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So you learn the rules there.
I like that. Family is your first society. Yeah, that's true.
I went to college.
Wow.
I didn't graduate, but I did go.
I didn't do the same thing. I have like 4 or 5 years under my belt, and because I changed my major 3 times, 3 or 4 times.
I mean, I just was like, I'm wandering around in the desert out here. I don't even know, you know.
And wouldn't you know it, I got diagnosed with ADHD.
Oh, I'm definitely.
Surprise of surprises.
There's zero question, and I figured it out too late, and I can't take the good drugs. But, you know, that's just
There's
what
ashwagandha. I'm sure that'll be sufficient.
It's not as fun.
No.
It's not as fun.
It's not.
Okay, we're just going to do a few of the lightning round because it's fun and you'll be fun with it.
Okay.
First instrument you ever fell in love with?
Piano. I played violin first, but piano is my first love. Real love, I think.
The song you crush every single time?
Ooh, I'd say any Carole King. I'm pretty good at some Carole King.
You want to bust one out? Just a little bit of it? You don't have to.
Stayed in bed all morning just to pass the time. Dun, dun, dun. There's something wrong here that can be no denying. One of us is changing and maybe we just start trying. Dun, 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 dun. And it's too late, baby, now it's too late. Anyway.
I think we just end it with that.
Oh. What?
Okay, fine. We'll just keep going.
but
all right. Well, we've already talked about all of your beliefs.
Sorry.
If God requested a song from you right now, what would you sing?
The cheese ball in me wanted to be like, I can only imagine. No, I don't think God would want me to sing that. If God were to request a song from me, what do you think
would you sing?
Cotton Eye Joe.
Right now, what I have in my head is the one that I hear at clubs.
That and been forgotten, not Joel. You know, and because I don't think God would be surprised by it. I'd be like, were you really expecting anything else? God, person who created me. And then he'd be like, nope, this checks out.
One thing
this is my creation and whom I am well pleased. It hadn't been forgotten, not Joe. God, no joy, more like it.
One thing you refuse to apologize for anymore.
Taking up space.
There you go, sister.
Don't you dare tell me to be smaller.
I'm not going to.
Don't you dare. She wouldn't, because we take up space. The world is so much more fun when you let people take up space.
I agree. I'm with you, man.
Lord, because it's not just me.
You don't know how people are going to show up.
No.
Let them show up.
Yeah.
Enjoy the moments.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I swear I'm doing this because it's just fun for me, but I love watching, like, everybody has such different, unique stories and perspectives and talents, and like, why would we want to dim that?
I don't get it, because people are so interesting.
They are so interesting.
And if we're all uniform, but the uniformity is there to control us. Pink Floyd was right. The uniformity is there literally so that we are easier to control. Individuality is much harder to put in a groupthink type scenario.
I mean, look at America versus China. I mean,
it is much more difficult.
And yet I watch some of those kindergartners in China doing all the stuff, and I'm like, holy cow.
They beat me at all the piano competitions.
Oh, yeah.
They did. And you know what?
I
was like, it makes sense, because they're superstars. Like, they're just beasts at everything.
That's wild.
But yeah, it's I mean, the individuality, I think, is what America is founded on, because if you think, like, we ripped ourselves away from the British. Like, we've kind of made that a thing in this country of like, no, we're not going to do this. Like, that's our thing, but that's what makes us who we are. And I think that, like, that'll probably save us in the end, or at least I hope it will. Is people being like,
question.
no
question.
Yeah, this ain't gonna fly, But that's the most American thing you can do, I think.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thanks for being on my podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Where can people find you?
On the street in a shrimp costume, probably begging for tips. No, just kidding. You can find me on social media. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. My website is under construction.
Is it just under Joy Brooker?
Joy Brooker.
Okay.
Yes, not Booker, like Brooker.
People do that. I almost have done it.
It's okay.
Well, you guys, thanks for listening. I hope you had as much fun as I did doing this episode. If you liked us, if you heard something, send it to somebody, share it, give us a like, give us a review. That helps us stay on air. So you guys have a great day.